Can your deer eat at those, like, 3,
These 3? I can try. Nope.
Nope.
He does not
He
seem
just-
interested.
He just stares and is like, what? You want me to eat that?
This is insufficient.
Gross.
No, the winter is not a good time for the deer lord.
And GameStop's practices weren't good. GameStop was just kind of a mediocre company for years, pushing you to spend money on things that you didn't need or want, kind of alienating the customers in favor of profit margins.
It was kind of sad. The only times that we had stepped foot in GameStop in recent memory was back when we were playing Pokemon X and Y, and how they were offering those. It was like once a month, or was it every week? There was a new scratch-off card.
I think it was every week.
Yeah, for a while there was a new scratch-off card for rare and special Pokemon, and you would just go in and request it, and they'd give you one. And then you'd have a legendary, or what was it, the shiny Gengar that you wanted. Ah yes, my favorite song.
It's a really good song. But no, like, I appreciate the service that GameStop technically provided, and still kind of provides. It's just, I feel like it would be almost better to have it as a smaller scale, or like, partner with, say, Target or something, and just say, like, we're just gonna move GameStop inside Target now. Because I would much...
Kind of like how there's Starbucks inside them.
Yeah. Because I'd much rather go to a Target... Oh, like, I don't really like the Target electronics section. I always thought it was kind of ass.
Mm.
You know, it's not much there. Just some kind of TVs that I don't really want, and a bunch of things just jammed onto shelves. I guess the other thing would be, like, a more interesting fashion, like, Powell's.
Why aren't these spearmen actually catching anything? And it's funny how they're still acting as though there's creatures afoot at night.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of talking about. It's like, I really wish we had some peaceful options for weathering winter. I know they were talking about making it easier to make money during winter, but I honestly don't see it.
How would you feel about the presence of bandits?
That he fought?
Yeah, imagine if every once in a while a roving party of bandits attacked during the day. And you would get a coin from everyone you killed. Then that means you would still have something to do.
Yeah. In a deeper, more interesting kingdom, I would definitely say I would really...
Have more factions rather than just the horror monsters that come out at night?
Maybe, yeah. But I was going to say, have it that, like, the islands that you've completed grant bonuses to subsequent, like, the other islands. The heck is this? Oh, it's berry bushes.
Oh, so that's what you get to pick during the winter.
Yeah, you have to put some money in. So that's where you get the extra cash. It looked like weird monster eggs, and I was like, that's confusing. But no, I don't know. I guess I'd just be so much more interested in a curated game space than a curated profit space. I always felt like GameStop was very much like a, we're here to sell as much as possible.
Isn't that what every store's prerogative is?
Kind of, but there's kind of a different, so I bring up Powell's. For those of you that don't know about, oh, you need farmers for those berries. Gotcha. Oh, I guess I'll go get some farmers then. For those of you that have never heard of Powell's, Powell's is a bookstore.
Well, there is a There's a farmer on this side. Huh.
Is there?
He just ran past.
Oh, well, I'll go buy some more. Even on my side. Oh yeah, there he goes. So we actually do have a couple of farmers still going. But it's a bookstore chain in the U.S. Effectively...
Is it really a chain or is it just around Portland?
I think there's like 3 or 4 of them. So yeah, I think it might just be around here. But not too far off of Barnes & Noble or whatever. But it felt more human.
They also have used books.
Yeah, they have
and
used books. They have regular books. They have board games, some other things. I don't know if they had much for, like, video games, but they had a lot of board games.
Maybe they did have a small section for video games. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't think they really have a bunch of DVDs and VHSs sitting around either.
But the
music.
The thing that set PALs apart is the presentation was very much like trying to show off the books that they liked. It felt almost library-ish. Powell's. Powells. If you're ever in the area of Portland, Oregon, they have, well, it's like one of the major landmarks. Like, you'll probably hear about it when you're trying to look up, like, places to go.
Do I have to have them within the walls, or...?
No. In fact, I don't think those berry bushes grow within the walls, from what I can tell.
But they don't have anything.
I was over there.
You harvested them?
Well, I had put money in to have them be harvested. Let's see. But yeah, it was just a nice... It's a nice chain. You'll, like, walk in and they'll just have, like, little blurbs of, like, staff picks and, like, reviews and some other things. In a way that...
They have fun cases with signed copies of books and such.
Yeah. In a way that, like, I don't think I ever really got out of Barnes & Noble or Borders, really. And, no, ultimately, it's not really this, like, big important thing that you have to go to. But it felt less corporate. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it is a much smaller business.
And so overall, you're saying that you prefer specialized stores versus the, what do they call them, big box?
Yeah. I like B Corp stuff if I can find or go to it. But I would love to see more game stores that kind of do the same thing.
Well, especially because game stores become community hubs for little card game tournaments and board game playing time.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, I would enjoy almost a tabletop, you know, regular physical game store that had, like, a kind of a pseudo GameStop, but maybe they have some kind of, like, affiliate thing with Steam where it's less about... Well, maybe not just Steam. You know, maybe they have used games. Maybe they have some new games. But just, like, a number of download codes.
Speaking of, you remember the GameStop that was near my family?
Yeah.
Closed.
Yeah.
And the game store that had recently found itself in there has expanded and gone into one of the larger slots in the plaza.
That's nice. That might have been a terrible decision at this point, but still. In the current age of online shopping, brick-and-mortar stores, the ones that survive will be the ones that offer an experience over the ones that try to offer better price or service. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think there are certain things like Best Buy that might not fail.
I mean, admittedly, we've been getting things from Best Buy just to spite Amazon.
Yeah.
I hate their guts. And I suppose I can go into why.
I mean, you've talked about it a billion times.
I've talked about it a billion times.
They just...
They allow anyone and anything to be sold on their site, and the problem is they don't vet it. So people put my artwork up for sale, and I have to spend months finding, sending reports, saying, no, these people are not allowed to sell my artwork on your site. Because at least with other stores, they hopefully vet things and they only buy from reputable brands and such.
Anyone to sell on it, not anyone sold on it.
Wait, what? What's going on?
Amazon is not human trafficking. Ugh. But, like, I feel like some brick and mortar places could be a good way of, like, promoting games not too far off of what I do, but saying, like, hey, here's some, like, really cool games, just occasionally. I think Steam kind of does that, but, like, I don't know. Kind of like Humble Bundle, but as a brick and mortar place would be weird and interesting? I don't know. Might not be worth it. Legally, Amazon just offers electronic storefront inventory management. You could probably sue whoever is selling your art on Amazon. Legally, Amazon is still somewhat...
Well, unfortunately, because of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, if they're informed that illegal stuff is being sold on there, they're supposed to take it down. But the problem is, these listings can be up there for weeks, months, and I won't know. And Amazon... Technically, they have internal sales records. They could tell me if they sold anything and maybe find a way to, like, get the money back from the people. But unless you create a lawsuit situation and stuff, you're never gonna get it back. And most of the sellers that have stolen my artwork are out of China. So,
yeah.
What am I supposed to do?
Not a whole lot.
What's happening though is you will have what I would refer to as crime rings. Crime rings of people. Maybe they even make 20 different stores with bogus titles. You can tell that they don't even care. It's like shop 867423.
Have I told you about the emails that I've been getting lately?
You've been getting terrible emails from just emails that don't make any sense.
Yeah, and I've honestly been reporting almost all of them as spam. But
Right.
it'll be like, hello, I represent business name. We are looking to advertise our product. Our budget is blank. And it's like, the wording is almost always the same. It's almost always...
Haven't they wanted you to advertise for things completely unrelated to gaming?
There was that one, yeah.
Yeah, but in any case, so I've discovered that there are dozens of shops on Amazon that all sell the same rubbish that they have these stock photos of backpacks and blankets and weird stuff. And what they do is they take your low-res images that you've posted to social media and they just sort of put them in such a way that I suppose it's like a mock-up of what the product would be. But you know for a fact that if they ever try printing the thing, it'll look horrible and pixelated. But because they don't have to show what the real product looks like, they just have hundreds of images of the same backpack with different people's artwork in them. And it's infuriating because you would think that after several reports, people would look at those shops and go, hey, their entire shop is based around art theft. All of these products that they're selling, it's just the same template images with multiple people's artwork put into them. And it's come to the point where I realize nothing's going to happen unless I actually reverse image search people's artwork and find them. And if I recognize the artist, I go, hey, you know, here's a couple links. Your work is being sold on Amazon. And if enough people report them, maybe those shops will get taken down. But you know for a fact they're just going to be able to re-upload stuff. You would think after nearly 200 reports to Amazon that Amazon could do something like YouTube, where there's an image detection system so that they prevent my art from ever being uploaded onto their stupid site ever again. And I know we're not supposed to talk ill of Amazon because they own Twitch. Gosh. But come on, guys. If you're some internet tech giant and you're trying to foster good relations with small independent businesses, make sure that the small independent business owners are legit, and because they're losing my business. I don't really want to shop from Amazon ever again. I've had to spend too many hours in their reporting system constantly sending in more reports against shops that shouldn't even exist on their site. And it's infuriating that it's happened to so many artists and nothing's being done about it. I don't even know how I came across all this money, but I'm going to use it to help build the boat.
I was getting stuff from the banker. And you just yoinked all the money. Not that it matters too much. I might have to go get some food. Luckily, not much is happening. And, like, honestly, I'm not gonna, like, judge people for buying from Amazon. Hell, I only mildly judge Amazon for this purely based on their just, like...
Oh, yeah, remember when you put up your t-shirt on there for the first time, and then suddenly...
Yeah, tons
like
of people were
20
stealing
people
it.
put up the same t-shirt, and...
I think my only beef is with Amazon's, like, extreme apathy here. Because, like, I think if they were working to solve these problems, I would be totally fine.
They always throw out the same ham-fisted, like, we care very much about intellectual property rights, and we'll do everything we can. But you can only say that so many times before you go, you know, there has to be something more you can do to prevent this from happening.
Because yeah, I would love it if Amazon actually was, like, coming up with interesting programs to help protect IP rights better.
And the astounding thing is, technically in their own terms of service and stuff, if someone is selling an identical product to someone else, they're supposed to list their, like, they have to put themselves in the list of other sellers selling under that item. They can't make separate listings, but all these people do. You will see dozens of listings for the same exact item, and that's technically against their terms of service and everything, but nope. So then you have duplicates of all the same stolen artwork. It is.
So what do you think of YouTube's opposite stance? You mean the... Oh gosh, look at all these spearmen coming running.
You mean of...
Look at those guys
look at
go!
all the spearmen!
Oh, da, 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 da,
You mean
da.
of YouTube actually being proactive? You see, I like it.
So, I know people like to hate on YouTube, but I gotta give them credit. They're at least trying to be somewhat proactive about everything.
And the problem with...
They're not great at it, but it's like...
Oh yeah, wasn't there someone that copyright claimed one of your videos, but it was because they had just put their video in for the same Let's Play series?
I should check that in a little while, and see if, you know, my Outlast video is still claimed.
Yeah, so there are some snafus like that happen where someone puts in a copyright claim for their game series, but it's just because they share the same cutscenes, and it's not the actual video. But Wanderer's caught some guys that just re-uploaded his stuff, voice and all. And I've definitely found videos, unfortunately I'm not large enough to be in the copyright system, but I found people using my artwork in their videos, and I've had stuff taken down so that, you know, people aren't profiting from my artwork. But the fact that YouTube has a system that says, hey, like, I think for Wander specifically, do you do content ID?
No.
Or what is it?
So it uses the same as the content ID system, but it's not as aggressive.
Right. So what Wander does is gets alerted that someone's uploaded the same stuff as him, and they're like, hey, do we claim it or do we not? And he can look at the video and go, oh, it's just someone else playing the same game as me. It has the same cutscenes in it, so no, it's not an infringement. Then he just clicks like ignore or no. And if someone stole his footage and re-uploaded it, then he can say, yeah, that's my stuff. So it's good that YouTube is proactive, because guess what? For me, I have to manually look on Amazon and other sites to see if my artwork's been stolen. Like, thank goodness for Google image search and other tools that help you find it, but I have to sift through dozens of pages of artwork being illegally sold on Amazon, trying to find... to date, I've only had one piece of my artwork sold on products illegally, thank goodness. So it's very easy to find it, but if I had multiple to do that for, oh gosh, that'd be devastating. But the problem is it's so easy for people to steal and upload things, and it's very difficult for content creators to protect their work. And because the onus is on the copyright owners to report, what it means is they have to spend their time and money and resources to hunt down infringers, when infringers, all it takes for them is an upload button. Boom. And they've stolen someone's work. Because it's the whole like innocent until proven guilty thing, if your copyright is infringed upon, you have to seek out the infringement, you have to fill out a bunch of information, usually including an address and a name and other things, and proof of where you first put up your own work and stuff. It's a lot, and some people are scared off because of the process. Like, they're afraid to protect their work because of it. Or it's too time consuming and they can't do it again and again and again. But in any case, so I like that YouTube is having a proactive approach, because you can put your work into the system, it can seek things out for you, because admittedly, you know, with computers and with everything being hosted on these sites, they should be able to identify copies. And like, imagine if on Amazon I could have like an IP system where I upload the piece of artwork that gets stolen all the time into their database of these are things that we should look out for. And what if they sent me an email that said, hey, Michelle, we noticed that, 50 sellers have just put this up for sale as this, and this. Are these okay? Did they officially license this work from you, or are they stealing it? And I can go, oh boy, they've stolen it, and then report them all. But until a class action lawsuit happens that holds more sites accountable for stuff like that, and I think that's what happened to YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Like, YouTube had that happen with...
YouTube got sued repeatedly, so they've been more proactive.
Right, because they got sued by musicians because people were just uploading their music as music videos and who knows what. And also the film industry, because people were just wholesale uploading whole segments of films, if not entire movies.
Yep. Because YouTube is very advertiser only. It makes it a lot harder for them to specifically weather these kinds of things. Whereas Amazon doesn't give as much of a shit because all of their money comes from people buying stuff. Let's see, more proactive. Still takes weeks to fix things for small channels.
Nope, not for me. I don't even...
Well, so they're talking about, like, hacked channels and, like... So, the main problem is with YouTube, if your channel gets hacked, it's a separate process from copyright things.
Oh, I've seen a couple of YouTubers have gotten their channels hacked, and then the funny thing is, whoever stole it kind of rebrands it and then offers it for sale or something.
Yep. Just
because there's already subscribers to it.
Just yell at the people who stole your stuff. No one likes being yelled at. These people don't give a shit.
Yeah. They're only apologetic when they get reported. And they're like, sorry, we didn't know the artwork was stolen. Our shop, we won't be able to sell anything on Amazon anymore. It's like, too bad.
Yep.
You guys are thieves, and you know it. But people are asking, I wonder if there's a market for services that aggressively go after copyright infringement. Those would be lawyers.
Yeah, there's lawyers, but I feel like...
But most small artists can't afford lawyers.
I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't something like that. So that's part of the reason why I'm part of a YouTube network. Because...
Right, and you see, creatives, like people who are artists, they need guilds or something along those lines to help them out.
And so honestly, I would not be surprised if there isn't some equivalent of a YouTube network that pops up within the next, 5-10 years. effectively saying, hey artists, pay us $10 a month and we're just going to add your image to the system that we're routinely searching for, and we'll you know, give you a little thing being like, hey, your artwork popped up here, is that cool? And then you'd be like, no, and they'd be like, cool, we're going to just you know,
And you just
DMCA
have-
that into oblivion.
You just have your information in a database, and they'd be able to plonk all the relevant information into the DMCA for you.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
I'd pay for that service.
that would be nice.
Because, like, can you imagine how many artists would be willing to pay $10 a month to not have to deal with that?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I told you the other day how I had found a number of artists' work had been stolen, and I noticed that a lot of them were Etsy sellers. And so I contacted them via Etsy, because I have an Etsy account. And I messaged them, showed them examples of the stuff being illegally sold on Amazon. And it was interesting, because I get these mixed responses of some of them are like, oh, it happens to me all the time. At this point, I've just given up, and it's infuriating.
Can you buy some more farmer sites when you go by?
Oh, sure. Where are the farmer sites?
To the right.
To the right?
Yeah, closer to the base.
Other ones are like, oh, this is the first time it's ever happened to me. I can't believe this is happening. I don't know how to process this. There are others that are like, oh my, I'm just going to report them all. But how do I do it? And I find that there's so little information out there about how artists can report things, and I really need to make YouTube videos on it. But I had to give out these long, detailed instructions that Amazon doesn't even give out, because a lot of artists are confused by Amazon's process. They give you this weird special code that you're supposed to put in an information box every time you report, but most artists don't see that, and then their reports get rejected because we don't have sufficient information to confirm your identity. And they go, but I've put all the information in properly, right? Except they forgot the one thing that's hidden in an email somewhere.
Yeah, that's happened to me multiple times.
Yeah, it happened to you at one point. And I was like, did you remember the secret code? And he goes, oh, that code. But you see, the reason why these large websites don't do anything until it negatively impacts them is because they get to make, what, 15% off of the sales of anything, well, sold on their platform. So, in a way, even illegal things they're profiting off of. It's just... it's gross. But I think the other thing, too, is the internet, the perception of what's on the internet has to change as well. People are used to excessive amounts of just free available content, or at least what they perceive of as free. And the problem is, everything that's put online, everything that's created, someone was behind it.
It always makes me so sad when people get real mad. New game comes out. I'm like, yeah, it's like $10-15, and they're like, it should be free. Okay. Happens not infrequently. I think it's just more common for younger people or something. I don't know.
And then there's the whole misconception of, oh, you posted it online, so it has to, I found it on Google, it has to be free.
Yep.
Or you should expect it will get stolen and stuff, and it's all your fault. It's kind of the terrible
Still
victim
amuses me
business.
that I actually killed a YouTube channel for that.
Oh yeah, they took an image of Skitter and used it as their brand. So they had it as their icon, in their banner, in their end slate, and as pop-ups throughout the video.
Yep, so I just took down 26 videos, more or less as soon as we got back from Disney. I was just like, well, you did this to yourself.
And they were a Reddit reader channel.
Yeah. Oh man, that is going to be an interesting
That's
thing.
going to be the next copyright infringement business. I mean, they've actually, I was reading up on it, and
Look at them go.
Look at the little army of spearmen. So
we sense fish in this direction.
there are Reddits dedicated to people writing short, scary stories, stuff like No Sleep and whatnot. And YouTubers have caught on to this, and what they're doing is taking those writings, and sometimes they're reading them aloud, but unfortunately there's also a bunch of lazy ones that are just putting them through text-to-speech computer, what would you call them? Computer voice modulators, or what would you...
Text-to-speech.
It really is just text-to-speech?
Yep.
Yeah. So, in any case, very, very lazy in the sense that...
Like, some of them do put some more effort in to stand out. The problem is, all of the content that they're pulling from the Reddit threads...
It's technically under copyright. I mean,
yeah,
technically...
it is copyrighted
We could say that even video games were under copyright.
Oh, absolutely.
Are under copyright. And it's one of those things
Yeah.
where now you're playing... Mostly you're playing games that you've been given specifically with the express permission to play. Yeah,
straight up, the only difference between what I do and the people that read the Reddit threads out is that I am informally allowed to. I have informal permission from game developers, more or less, to do this because we are incredibly good free advertising, as opposed to these Reddit threads where nobody gives a shit.
Well, the other thing, too, is, if you think about it, most YouTube channels, at least with gaming YouTubers, they had to start off without the permission of the content creators. I mean, without the creators of the game.
This was only a problem back, like, 10 years ago. Like, 2009 to 2010, that was kind of when game companies were still just like, I don't like it. And then eventually they're like, holy shit, free marketing. And then, except for, like, Atlas, everybody's totally chill with it. And even Atlas is like, don't you dare, but does nothing about it because they realize it would be a PR mistake.
At the same time, with the Reddit readers or the people that repost artwork or whatnot, the thing is...
Well, there's no give and take. It's just all take. And that's the big issue. Is it reasonable to compare how YouTube and Amazon manage content? Most YouTube creators are individual artists. So they're investing in promoting them, whereas Amazon products are from large companies. So for them to do copyright detection for each product is probably more difficult. No, it's not.
Well, that's the thing. Technically in Amazon's term of service, let's go say you have a specific type of
It's probably actually a lot harder to police YouTube than Amazon.
Yeah. So
because you have to not only do you have to make sure that the thumbnails are relatively policed.
Oh, look, it's the old man.
Yeah, he's slowly making his way over to the boat. But like.
Also, the thing about Amazon is technically under their terms of service and such, if someone is selling a very specific brand and model of, say, a hand mixer or something, every seller that's offering that hand mixer, sure, you could have something like Sears or Target or whatever. You know, they all might be selling...
Can you go check the berry bushes on the right side of the map?
Oh, sure. They all might be selling the same hand mixer. But technically on Amazon, they're supposed to be the quote-unquote additional sellers selling a particular item. You know when you open up a listing and it says available from these sellers? Multiple people who are offering the same thing have different prices, but under the... Oh, I see. But under the same listing. However...
There's another one to the far right, too. Sorry. Just giving you something to do so you're not just
However, there's a lot of
chatting.
people that break that.
Yep.
And they create multiple listings and such, yada yada. So technically, there should only be one version of every item on the site. And yes, multiple people can be offering it for sale, but it's supposed to be concise. However, no one ever does that, and it's fairly lawless, I would say. It's not a good look. You see a lot of trash on that site. And it's because no one is cross-referencing anything and vetting anything.
I'm gonna go get some food for the last couple
Coin?
days.
Do I put another coin in here?
Yep. Yeah, the farmers will just kind of go and gather berries off of them. It's not much, but it's profit.